I'd like to thank ABC Supply for sponsoring this video, recorded at the Western Roofing Expo. Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Bloom, Group Publisher of Roofing Contractor, and welcome to our Best of Success podcast show. I am so honored and thrilled to be here today with Chuck Chapman, the president of TECTA America, Arizona. Chuck, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Jill. Pleasure to be here.
Well, we go way back. I've known you for kind of a long time.
Couple weeks anyway.
You know, one of the things we were just talking about before we even started, this is really cool, Chuck, and I didn't know this about you, but you just got inducted, during COVID, you were inducted into the Western States Roofing Contractors Hall of Fame, as we see here on your badge here. You have a little flag that says Hall of Fame, as well as many other things that a lot of accomplishments in the industry. So first and foremost, congratulations. That's really cool.
Thank you.
And what is that all about? Can you explain that to everybody?
You know, I don't know exactly what the criteria is, other than the fact that you've been around for a long time and dedicated yourself to the Western States Roofing Contractors Association. I've been a part of this board and the Davis Foundation since 2003. And I don't know if it's just because I'm old or because I'm a glutton for punishment, but it was something I was very, very proud of. Had no idea I was going to be getting the award. Shed a few tears that day, but it is very, 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 very humbling to have been put into the Hall of Fame. So I'm very, very happy to be there.
Well, again, congratulations, and very well deserved, Chuck, because I see what you do, and you give back so much, and you're always so gracious with your time and energy, and just, even today, just like helping share some nuggets of information to help other contractors today
absolutely.
As well as on the distribution side.
Thank you.
On the roofing contractor side, as you're talking to other contractors before, we were just talking about training as well as recruiting, and really one thing I would love for you to expand on is working with you're talking about how you're working with the manufacturers to do some really cool local training.
Right.
And let's talk about that for a minute. How do other contractors, what are you doing to work with with your manufacturers, and what can everybody else, what do they need to know, I guess, to try and maybe do the same thing?
Yeah, the training aspect is extremely important, and what we are realizing is that training is a recruitment and retention tool as well.
Sure.
Because the guys feel much more important, much more valued when you start investing in them. And there's a number of different ways to do that, but the training is a no-brainer because it's a win-win. Now we have people that are doing a better job, they're more valuable, they're more efficient, they're better workers, so that benefits the company. But it also benefits them because they feel more valued, they feel more important, and they feel part of the team. They're like, hey, my employer values me so much that they are investing this money, this time, into me to make me a better worker, so it helps with our retention. It's hard for us to be able to do that training on our own, depending on what size of a contractor you are. And the smaller you are, the harder it is to do that because you may not have somebody that really knows how to do the training. So most of the manufacturers now have training centers around the country.
Yeah, like a job fair, you're saying.
Yeah, that we can send our people to. They will work with us and either reduce the costs or split the costs or almost make it free, where we can send our people and they can go spend 2, 3, 4 days in their very, very professional training center, and they can be trained by professional trainers, and they come out the other end a much more valuable employee and a much more appreciated employee. And hey, the guys get to go, they get to go travel a different part of the country. They're like, hey, I've never taken a trip before. Half these guys have never been on an airplane before. So when they go on a trip, they're like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
Some manufacturers are also even doing, like you mentioned, the job fair thing.
Yeah, tell us about that, because that sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's a recruitment tool that some manufacturers are starting to do for us as contractors now. They will actually put on a job fair, a training fair, however you want to call it, where they'll actually go out and recruit potential employees who are not currently in the roofing industry. They might be just coming out of school, they might be working at McDonald's or whatever it is, but they will recruit X amount of people. They'll bring them into our facility, And then they will put on a 3-day training course where some of it is classroom and some of it actually hands-on, where they might actually be welding TPO or screwing down screws and plates or installing insulation in mock-ups. And that after that 3-day training class, then we get to say, okay, you know what? Out of these 15 guys that were here, or gals, these 5 over here look like they have got a pretty good aptitude for this, and they seem to be engaged.
Yeah.
And then we can actually sit down and do an interview with them. And if we take it one step further, we actually can decide whether or not we want to hire them.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. And again, it's the partnership between ourselves and the manufacturers that we work with, and they're investing back in us because they understand it is actually a partnership. It is a two-way street, and if we're benefiting, they're benefiting.
For sure, and what a great opportunity for somebody who's trying to figure out if this is an industry they want to get into. Is it something that they actually, in that process, it sounds like that gives them an opportunity to realize, I love this, or no, this isn't for me.
Yes, because after doing a day or two of this training, then that potential employee candidate can really see what it's all about. And I wouldn't say half of them, but I would say there's probably 10 or 20% of them that after that couple of days are like, no, you know what, forget it, I'm out.
Yeah, that's helpful.
And in my part of the country, Phoenix, Arizona, where it gets a little bit warm during the summertime, we actually can do some of that training outside.
Oh, that's nice, because it doesn't rain that much in Phoenix. It does.
No, and when it's
Midwest.
115 degrees.
But that's hard.
It's a little bit tough. So we do some of that training actually outside, not for extended periods of time, but if you're not used to that heat, even spending a half an hour to an hour out there really gives you some exposure to something that they have not ever been exposed to before. And they can say, oh, you know what, forget it, I'm never going to make it. Or they're, you know what, this isn't bad.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chuck, for that insight. I think it's really cool for other contractors to hear what you're doing, how you're doing it, and just different ways to kind of get creative with training and recruiting. But if anybody does have any questions about Tech to America, where do they go? What's the website?
The website is techtoamerica.com. You go onto the website and you can see all of our locations across the country. It also gives you insight into our company, and it also allows you to apply for a job right online.
That's great. Well, thanks again, Chuck. And again, congratulations on your Hall of Fame. And if anybody has any questions for us, it's roofingcontractor.com or roofingsupplypro.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for all our free content, especially our e-news, our website. Make sure you follow us on all our social media pages so you can stay up to date on all the great interviews we're doing, just like we are today with Chuck. But most importantly, stay safe and healthy, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. Thanks again, Chuck.
Thanks, Jill.